Welcome everyone, and thank you for tuning in to hear my trading and market updates. This is Uncle Frank, and I'm not a financial advisor, nor is any of the content to be construed as financial advice. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. Please remember to hit the like button if you enjoyed the presentation, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so you're alerted when I have new information to share. So now let's get into the latest updates. Hey, welcome back everyone, and welcome to my 2024 preview. Over the holiday weekend, I will be working on my event calendar for January, and to be completely honest, it looks like a roller coaster ride through Hades, especially for the hedge funds. I have so many potential events, I can't find a calendar big enough for it all. Let's start this episode off with exec sum to gauge where we'll be starting off for the last trading day of the year. S&P 500, 4783, up 24.6% for 2023. The Dow, 37,710, that's a record, up 13.8% for the year. NASDAQ, 15,095, up 44.2% for the year. Bitcoin, as of last night, 42,522. That's 156.9% year to date. Ethereum, 2349. That's 96.4%. Gold stands at 2,075. That's 13.3% for the year. Oil, 72.04, down 8.1% for the year. I have to acknowledge one of my favorite articles of 2023 titled U.S. stock short sellers down $145 billion in 2023, according to Ortex. A late year surge in stocks is exacerbating the pain of short sellers who are on track for their worst collective annual loss since 2020, according to the data and analytics company Ortex. Now, here's the important part. The losses have come in the face of a rally that is ramped up in the fourth quarter on expectations that the U.S. Fed Reserve is done raising interest rates and will likely pivot to cuts next year. Okay, guys, for now, let's keep rooting for this rally to stay around long enough to bring some hedge funds down. And right out of the gate, I've got some good news for you from Schaefer's Investment Research. Why 2023 underperformers could pop in early 2024. Short covering rallies could be coming in January. From senior quantitative analyst Rocky White. According to Rocky's analysis, out of the stocks that had at least 5% of their float sold short, the ones down at least 10% on the year performed best in the first 5 trading days of 2023. Those stocks gained over 4% for the week, with 75% of them positive and an impressive 70% beating the SPX, which was up 1.4% in that first week. The stocks down moderately, less than 10%, gained about 3% on average, with 62% beating the index. I like those odds. Now here's some breaking news that couldn't wait for 2024 from Cryptopolitan. UAE, India, finalize oil trade with rupees instead of dollar. India and the United Arab Emirates have executed their first ever oil trade using India's rupee instead of the US dollar. This groundbreaking agreement reflects both countries' commitment to abandon the dollar in bilateral transactions, marking a pivotal moment in the global financial landscape. But fear not, XRP fans, Ripple is already set up in both nations from April. Ripple confirms XRP ODL payments are now available in India. Okay, and another one, XRP gains approval from Dubai Financial Services Authority. Ripple also announced that it was working with the National Bank of Georgia on a digital currency as it grows its international presence. I'm telling you guys, January is going to be hot. Again from the Cryptopolitan. The 5 countries set to join Brics next month, as the Brics Economic Alliance, initially consisting of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, expands its global influence. 5 major countries are on the cusp of joining this influential bloc in the beginning of 2024. With the addition of these nations, Brics is not only increasing its membership, but also significantly enhancing its geopolitical and economic footprint. The move underscores a strategic shift in the global power dynamics, challenging the existing order and paving the way for a new era of multipolar collaboration. What are the 5 countries? Iraq, Nigeria, Turkey, Mexico, and Pakistan. Just for fun, I wanted to look up the 10 countries that receive the most U.S. foreign aid. Sure enough, 3 of them are on there: Iraq, Nigeria, and Pakistan. I wonder if we're going to keep sending $870 billion to Iraq, $717 million to Nigeria, and $438 million to Pakistan after they blow off the U.S. dollar. Stay tuned. And more action for January from Barron's. Bitcoin rises as the countdown to ETF approval is on. Enthusiasm continues to build ahead of the expected approval of exchange-traded funds, which will hold Bitcoin directly. The key driver continues to be the expected approval of Bitcoin ETFs as soon as early January, as the SEC finalizes its discussions with potential ETF issuers. The SEC has indicated to firms hoping to launch Bitcoin ETFs that it will give them the green light for them to go ahead by January 10th, according to Fox Business, citing people close to the firms. Now, this is getting really frustrating. One thing that I hoped would happen in January is Ripple's final settlement with the SEC. But this article says otherwise. Expert says no settlement in Ripple versus SEC case unless this happens. From the article, in a recent interview on Thinking Crypto, attorney John Deaton speculated there will be no settlement in the Ripple case due to the SEC's securities claim against other crypto projects. Notably, Deaton said he does not think the SEC will settle with Ripple and agree that XRP sold on exchanges are not securities, while the Commission still considers ADA, SOL, and Matic to be investment contracts. Recall that back in June, the SEC labeled those cryptos and over 10 others as securities in its lawsuits against Coinbase. The SEC alleged that Coinbase violated U.S. laws by operating an unregistered securities exchange and facilitating the trading of assets deemed as investment contracts. A month later, a federal court in New York issued the highly anticipated summary judgment in the Ripple case, where it held that XRP in itself is not a security. The court also found that Ripple's programmatic sales and other distributions are not investment contracts as alleged by the SEC. While some legal experts speculate the SEC could appeal the decision after the final judgment, others predict that the regulator could settle with Ripple. Attorney Deaton is among the legal experts who do not think a settlement is the next outcome in the lawsuit. Deaton, who believes the SEC is currently in a war against crypto, argued that the Commission will only settle with Ripple based on the outcome of its legal tussle with Coinbase. According to Deaton, there could be a settlement in the Ripple case if Coinbase wins its motion to dismiss the SEC charges. Quote, "The only thing I see causing the settlement is if Coinbase wins their motion to dismiss or partially wins it. That's the only thing. Otherwise, it's still a war. We're in the middle of a war." So for those of you, that's the big catalysts in XRP. Final settlement with the SEC, an XRP exchange-traded fund, mass adoption by global banks, and ultimately the IPO of Ripple itself. Just my opinion, not investment advice. As I've said, I'm putting together a massive events calendar for January of the new year that I'm going to drop before the open on Tuesday. It's going to start out with this. Will we hit $9 billion for 2023 as an industry? Will Q4 of 2023 beat Q4 of 2022 for AMC and the industry? We will know by no later than the first Tuesday of January. Guys, if you have an AMC close to you, get out there and support our business and see a movie by Sunday. What else is going to happen in January? How about this from ABC News? Federal judge orders documents naming Jeffrey Epstein's associates to be unsealed. More than 150 people are expected to be identified in early January. Who are the newly revealed Jeffrey Epstein associates? Do you think this has nothing to do with Wall Street? Think again. Some of the names in the article: Sergey Brin, Google co-founder; Ariana de Rothschild, the chairwoman of the Rothschild Group; Catherine Rumler, that's Goldman Sachs general counsel. How about Larry Summers? That's our ex-Treasury Secretary. And what about Leon Black from Apollo and Jess Staley from Barclays and JP Morgan Chase? This time, Wall Street and Washington are on the hot seat, not just celebrities. Well, you better make room for crazy if Wall Street illuminaries and Washington politicians are found to have been traveling on Epstein Airlines. Some distractions are definitely forthcoming. Two I have my eye on are on your screen now. Alarming revelation: soaring viral levels detected in water supply. The CDC's Christmas wish granted. Nationwide data reveals surging levels of newest COVID strain in the water supply. And another, U.S. scientists warn of chronic wasting disease, also known as zombie deer disease, could spread to humans. Now, don't worry about that. We have Jordan, aka Optimal Projection, monitoring the zombie deer disease situation from ground zero up in Michigan. Guys, I've been warning you this was coming, and it's not going to stop. Trust me. 2024 is shaping up to be a dismal year for cinemas and studios, with the domestic box office expected to drop by $1 billion. Deadline reports that due to the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes, all the delays mean only 107 wide titles in 2024. Plus, there are some massive gaps between releases. With this news, it's expected to earn around $8 billion, which is down 11% to 2023. This is only going to continue, especially if we have a killer fourth quarter. Just warning you. Having said that, if you ask me, I think we are looking at a pretty good January, starting with Self-Reliance on January 3rd, Night Swim January 5th, Mean Girls January 12th, along with Beekeeper and the Book of Clarence, and then on the 19th, ISS. Looking pretty solid to me. I've got more breaking news for you here. According to S&P Global Intelligence, there were 591 corporate bankruptcies in 2023, one of the highest bankruptcy totals since 2011. Only 2020, with 639 bankruptcies, witnessed more. Well, here's some more good news to start out the new year for struggling businesses from the Boston Globe. In reversal, U.S. to heighten efforts to collect billions in unpaid COVID loans. The Biden administration plans to more aggressively pursue thousands of small businesses with past due pandemic loans, reversing an earlier policy that saw the U.S. government stop short of trying to collect an estimated $30 billion in delinquent debt. The new approach, announced Thursday, arrives months after federal watchdogs and congressional lawmakers first blasted the administration for its leniency, warning that the government risked breaking the law and exacerbating its losses if they didn't try harder to get the money back. As my dad used to say, after dessert comes the check. Another early January event will be Evergrande's appearance in bankruptcy court. after it was delayed again in December from the New York Times. 2 years after its default, China Evergrande may finally meet its end. A Hong Kong judge could set in motion the liquidation of the property developer, which was once considered one of China's most successful companies. The only thing I would add to that, guys, is those unrealized losses on the books of many of the primes may become realized losses. There's a difference. And on topic, financial contagion warning, as HSBC is told to brace for catastrophic £6.3 billion hit. Bob Liddon fears losses in Hong Kong and China could blow a hole in the bank's equity. Stay tuned. And does everyone remember the $1 trillion swap that was supposed to expire on 12/15 from Credit Suisse, now absorbed by UBS? That's supposed to happen in the first 2 weeks of January now. From Traders Magazine, looking ahead, preparing for regulatory change in the new year. As 2023 comes to a close and we look ahead to the new year, a concern that may be top of mind for compliance professionals is whether they are adequately prepared for the regulatory changes that will inevitably come in the new year. According to Nasdaq's 2023 Global Compliance Survey, which recorded responses from 190 compliance professionals at organizations within the capital markets ecosystem, 27% of respondents, an increase of 7% in 2021, revealed they do not feel adequately prepared to meet regulatory requirements. Based on the survey's findings, this is especially true for those in North America who feel this disproportionately more than their global counterparts. What I'm hearing is they're not ready for all the new rules, guys. They need some more time to learn how to get around them all and continue cheating in 2024. Okay, guys, place your bets. Will January be the month we top $34 trillion in U.S. debt? It's sure starting to look that way. Guys, I know some of you may find this boring, but we have to keep an eye on China. I think it's way worse than I thought it was, and I need my subscribers to know about this. Consumer confidence is at an all-time low, sending spending to zero. Real estate, which made up 30% of Chinese GDP not too long ago, is the most common wealth investment vessel for Chinese households. It's imploding, which will have catastrophic and long-reaching effects. Some 70% of retail savings is tied up in real estate, and many local governments depend on land sales to developers for revenue. Chinese citizens aren't happy. Both the 1% and the 99% are fleeing in record numbers. Now check this out. More Chinese citizens have been apprehended at the U.S.-Mexico border in 2023 than the 10 previous years combined. Did you get that? More worrying, China saw the world's largest exodus of millionaires in 2023. More than 13,500 left, with the plurality leaving to Australia. The problems are systemic and widespread. Youth unemployment has gotten so high the government has stopped releasing data. That's how the Chinese get down. Speaking of data, official GDP growth came in at 5%, but that figure is widely disbelieved. So how bad is it? Let me put it this way. I've never seen anything like this before. The China funds made up 17 of the 20 worst performing funds in 2023. That should tell you everything. Okay? This swan is going to land. Breaking news from this morning and Markets Insider, China's 10 trillion hidden debt mountain could be the ticking time bomb that Joe Biden warned of. And I saved the best slide for last. Wall Street banks want to forget about 2023, but 2024 may not be much better. According to this chart, Worst year in a decade for investment banking. Deal-making revenue is on pace for its lowest level since 2013. Guys, don't feel sorry for these prime banks and brokers. Without them, the predatory short hedge funds couldn't violate us in so many different and illegal ways. Here's hoping they get exactly what they deserve in the new year. Isn't the Uncle Frank Finance Channel fun? You get all the shit you need in one convenient place. Happy New Year, y'all. Hey, I want to thank you for watching, and please remember to hit the like button after this slide if you enjoyed the presentation. Subscribe to the channel and set the alert so you're notified when I have new information to share. See you at the bell.